Welcome back to On Deck Circle Podcast, brought to you by Fantasy Six Pack. I am your host with the most, I guess, because I couldn't think of something to say before that, Mr. Nick Zaniboni, and I'm here with my good friend Jason Beckner. Jason, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Nick. Spring training's in full swing. Baseball is in the air. We now have injuries. We have lineups. We have home runs. We have stolen bases.
We have best shape of my life season.
Yeah, good call. Best shape of the life season. Down 40 pounds. So-and-so's down 40. Zach Veen has put on 60 pounds.
Sober and just hitting bombs.
And he's almost unrecognizable.
He looks like a completely different person. Maybe he will come up in our NL-AL West show.
Yeah.
But today we are talking the Central. But before we talk Central, it is my favorite part of the week, which is the Cold question of the week. This is a good one because actually it's not that good. But tomorrow I am reading a book at a local elementary school here in the city of Boston because as a city employee, they were like, hey, do you want to come read at a school? And I was like, sure. I want to know one piece of advice you would give to an elementary school child, and it cannot be a piece of advice that you would give your own kids. All right? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, Jason. So what do we got? It also needs to be somewhat appropriate because I will actually be sharing this advice with
I got a great one.
Yeah.
A very wise elderly man back in my day once told me one of the best tips I ever got as a child. And it was simply this: do not eat yellow snow.
You know what? That's topical because of all the snow that we currently have here. And you know what? I think I can actually get away with that one.
Yeah, all jokes aside, it's pretty simple. I think it's easy one. It's pretty, not just to kids, anybody. It's just be kind to one another. I feel like there's a lot of bullying going on, especially in young kids.
Look at you, Jason, being a big softie. I love that.
Yeah, man. Be kind to each other, especially in elementary school. I think bullying has a lasting effect on kids of their age. So yeah, give them. If they want a serious one, be kind to one another. If you want to, hit them with a little joke, don't eat yellow snow.
Maybe start with the be kind, then be like, and don't eat yellow snow.
Yeah.
Great. All right, Jason. Thank you very, 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 very much for that. I will.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be of good knowledge to them as you bestow upon them.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna continue our Dynasty breakout talk. Last week we did the AL/NL Central or AL/NL East. This week we're doing the AL/NL Central. Shout out Bob Osgood for joining us last week. Always love having Bob on the show. A wealth of knowledge. But this week, we're doing the Central. Gonna kind of go. I think we're kind of mixing it up this time with just the two of us. I think we're gonna go team by team with the breakout of each team. That way, we're still gonna talk about a decent amount of players this week, as well as we'll give you guys a fade. That'll be more just one random player amongst the Central teams. It's too much to go through, a fade and a buy for every team. It's 25 players or whatever. We're on a little bit of somewhat of a time restraint.
And we're keeping things positive. We don't like talking about those fades. We love talking about the guys that we're excited to draft.
True. Yeah. One of my worst things, and even when I was writing articles, is talking about players that you don't like. Yeah. I feel like there's, maybe I'm just a baseball purist, but I feel like I don't hate any player. I feel like every player, for the most part, has some sort of fantasy value, whether that's depending on team and roster building versus, whatever. I just hate ADP. So, yeah, let's keep positive. I'm going to stick with some breakouts here. Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, you were tasked with the AL. I was the NL.
Correct.
So we'll go back and forth here. So who do we got first?
gonna go with your first here. It's gonna be Sal Frelick of the Brewers.
Sal Frelick, Boston College grad. So a little bit of homerism there. Just kidding. We don't really pay attention to college baseball up on the Northeast. Frelick's always kind of been like an interesting guy. Last year he kind of had that breakout, but I'm looking for him to maintain it. He hit 288, hit 12 homers with 19 stolen bases. We're not talking like a world beater here. We're talking that solid third, fourth outfield spot on your team. I'm a streamer currently has him at hitting 270 with 8 homers. I think the 8 homers is a little bit light. I think he can easily get to 10, and then like 13 bags. And again, I think we could see like a 10 homer, 20 steal guy if he gets the full season of like 150, 500 at bats. Yeah, and like just where he's going in redrafts is pretty. Hold on one second. Sal Frelick, just where he's going in drafts, he's like pick 300. The range is basically 211. That's like his median, which is a great spot. He's still only 25. I think he can tap into the power like a bit more. I'm trying to buy him anywhere I can in all of my dynasties. I think I only have one share out of like 5-6 teams. But yeah, you're definitely closer to him just because it is Chicago. I do know that you watch some Brewers games. Is that a thing?
Yeah. I probably attend more Brewer games than I do Cubs game. That's not because I'm a diehard Cub fan, but it costs a family of 4 over $200 to get in the door to go to Wrigley. Where
at least,
yeah, and I can drive to Milwaukee in about a little over an hour, and it's like $50 for a family of 4 to get in the door.
And it's a dome, so
and
like
the dome, yep. Yeah, and that's the best thing is like we'll go a lot like in April when it's like the weather shit. And you just drive up there, you're indoors. The tickets are, I'm not even kidding. I paid $4 a ticket to get in last April. It was like awesome. It was Brewers Reds. Yeah. And then, I also go to Brewers Cubs up there too, which is also notably nicknamed Wrigley North because we just take over that stadium. But yeah, Sal Frelick's on the line of like just we used to always joke around. Lunch pail. Yeah, we used to joke around that the Cardinals had some sort of like devil magic. And that's slowly becoming the Brewers now. They just have these guys that come up and they're nothing flashy, right? Even if you look up and down that lineup, there's nothing flashy about it. But somehow they continue to win 90+ games a year, and they do it, like you said, with lunch pail and effort. But Frelick took a nice jump last year. The power increased. He saw his WRC plus jump up to over above average, plus 114 WRC plus last year. He's got a really nice approach at the plate. Doesn't strike out. Walks a good amount. Steals the base. You probably get 20+ stolen bases from Sal Frelick. Yeah, and I like what I see out of Frelick. And again, the team is somehow putting up, top tier offensive output. So you're going to get a bunch of runs scored. He had 130 RBIs plus runs, and I think he bats like in the bottom half of that order.
Yeah, I feel like he normally hit like 9th or so. He kind of was just what I wanted Garrett Mitchell to be last season. Yeah, I feel like Frelick kind of stepped in when Mitchell got hurt. So, and I mean, you're not going to lose a job by playing the way he played. So, definitely intrigued to watching him this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up real quick where roster reach. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they have him batting 6th, so he may even see some RBI opportunities this year versus last year. So that could be another fantasy output where there could be the RBIs. All right, I'll jump over here to my first guy. I'm going to talk about someone from the Cleveland Guardians. Almost said the canceled word, but Cleveland Guardians, Joey Cantillo. This is one of those under the radar kind of pitchers. He was traded over to Cleveland during the 2020 season at the trade deadline. I don't know if many people kind of see it was a 3-team deal. I believe it was the deal that sent like Waldrop back, not Waldrop, Waldron to the Padres. The most current knuckleball pitcher in the league. But talk about a team. We talk about these different organizations that develop some of these pitchers, and Cleveland's just another one of those teams that just has a knack for developing pitching prospects, and Cantillo's the next in that line. So it really started to impress once he came over to Cleveland. In 2024, he did make his debut. Not the greatest of output. He made 8 starts, 4.89 ERA. But then last year he had a really nice campaign as he went on. He posted a 3.21 ERA, a 1.26 WHIP. He had 108 Ks in 95 innings. Both the K rate and the whiff rate rank in the top 20th percentile. Which the most weird thing to me about Cantillo, though, is he doesn't throw hard. He uses a lot of deception. He's got a fastball, changeup, curveball. He doesn't have a high-end velocity, so he uses the fastball kind of to set up and get ahead in the count, and then he uses the changeup to put hitters away. The changeup had almost a 50% whiff rate last year, and actually his 49.4% whiff rate was 7th best among all pitches. That includes all pitchers, all pitches. His changeup was the 7th best at whiff rate, and it was the number 1 changeup in all of baseball when it came to whiff rate last year. So even better than Skubal. So the changeup is legit with Cantillo. He figures to be near the back half of that rotation for Cleveland, so it's not like he's going to be out there mowing guys down. But super solid. If you can get him as your SP4 or 5, you're doing great. I think he's scheduled to be the back half of that rotation this year. So I think Cantillo could make a nice jump this year.
Yeah, so I'm looking at his Savant page. Do you know what really sticks out, Jason?
His extension. I noticed that too.
99th percentile extension here. Yes, man. Cantillo, that's crazy. 99, I'm all in. The kind of like that devil magic that we were talking about with the Cardinals and Brewers. The Guardians kind of have that with pitching. And because he was with the Padres, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So when he was with the Padres, he was kind of that punk rock prospect that like the guys were like, oh, I like him because he was like that second tier of pitcher. And now he seems to be putting it together. The 6'4", 225 frame, the not high velocity. Again, this is going to be the safe pitcher that you have that's going to go out. He's going to throw 6 innings, going to get you that quality start. He might get you a win. He might not. But he's probably not going to get hurt with at least like bad elbow things.
Right.
Was that the lower velocity, but that extension's there. Yeah, man, I love him, and I have 0 shares everywhere, but I love it. And great pick. This just rotation in general is like so interesting to me. Like the Gavin Williams, and like one thing that kind of annoys me is that Tristan McKenzie never worked out, because it's like the one time something like Parker Messick, awesome. Logan Allen, interesting. Gavin Williams, stud.
Yep.
Eby, stud. Cicchione, great. Like there's just so many good pitchers on this team, and I think that he might be the best one.
Yeah. I feel like the day and age of like, let me put it this way, the era of the slow pitch might be back. We might be in a world where the guys that are throwing low 90s are still being effective, and we don't have to worry about, throwing their arms out because they're not really, throwing 102 every time. So I feel like we're just seeing more and more pitchers that are, soft tossers have a very efficient rate when it comes to, getting guys out. So to be continued on that. But yeah, I'm all in a Cantillo going forward in Dynasty leagues for sure. Let's go jump over here, your guy next, and that's going to be Jordan Walker of the Cardinals.
All right. I said at the beginning of the show, best shape of your life season. I'm buying all of the hype. And by hype, I mean things I see on Instagram and Twitter. Do you know what one of the best words you can hear if you're a struggling batter is? Not the best words an owner can hear when their struggling batter is in the offseason? Do you know what that word is?
No.
It's drive line.
Oh, okay.
Jordan Walker hit drive line this past winter, and I'm just in the tools are there. They really are. Those things don't just leave you as good as he was in the minors. The tools are elite, but I think this is kind of a make or break season. His swing decisions do need to improve a bit. But I think this is it, Jason. And I'm just seeing videos of him hitting in spring training, and I'm like, oh, is this it? Is he going to do it? But last season, not great. Struck out 126 times in 363 at bats, hit 215. Just not great, but the talent is there. So, like, just looking at his 2023 season, because he missed most of 2024, he struck out less times in 2023 with 104 times in more at bats than he did last year. And he hit 276 in 2023. And honestly, we were probably saying, like, expected more from Jordan Walker, but he said, no, I'm going to be worse. So I'm in on Driveline. Still only 23. He's still 6'6". The talent is there. Prove me wrong, Jason.
You know, Walker reminds me of a lot of, and I could kind of see him falling down this same career path as Joe Adell.
Yes,
super highly touted prospect. The first couple years he came into the league just abysmal, and I look at Joe Adell now. He just had his
30 homer season.
Best career year in his young career last year at age 26. Again, Walker was kind of maybe forced a little bit into the rushed along a little. Still super young, only, what do you say, he's 23?
23.
Yeah, I mean, he's already, appeared in 3 seasons.
Yep.
So I think, and also the Cardinals no longer, let's put it frankly, they're not trying to compete to win anymore.
No.
They are in rebuild mode, and maybe that'll alleviate some of the stress on Walker, and maybe he can kind of go out there and just be himself and play and prove to why he was one of those high-end prospects and prove that he actually belongs at the major league level. I as a Cubs fan don't want to see it, but I think he could absolutely turn his – yeah, I mean, we're talking about a 23-year-old. I mean, he still has plenty of time to develop and turn things around. He's not like he was just randomly came up and was injury-prone or anything like that. I think the ability is still there, and we could see him taking a leap forward for sure. All right, talking about my guy here. I think a very hot button topic or hot button guy on this show, and that's Munetaka Murakami. I think if you remember, we talked quite a bit about him in our first year player draft show, which if you're interested in that, you can go back and check that back a couple weeks ago. Which I thought was funny where we've come in just a matter of 4 weeks? It was that maybe 5 weeks. I used him as a honorable mention of someone that you don't want to pass on at the end, the middle to the end of the first round. Now that he's here stateside and spring training has begun and we've seen some live batting practice from him, he is now, I believe, a top 3 pick in first year player draft.
Easy.
He is catapult. Like I said, there wasn't a ton of ADP out there when we did our first year player draft episode about a month and a half ago. So, I didn't know if people were really that high on him. And then, like I said, all it takes is a couple of Twitter videos of him taking batting practice with the team. We now see him stateside, and the helium is legit. He's still only 26 years old. He's got elite power. He's one of Japan's most dangerous power hitters in the last 5 seasons. He's had 30-plus home runs, including a NPB league-leading 56 home runs in 2022. He's hit 20 home runs in every season since 2019. Got a really nice advanced strike zone approach awareness. He does draw a bunch of walks. Now, all that being said, we have not seen him face the top tier pitching from the MLB baseball. So we may still be a little bit of question marks when it comes to transitioning from NPB to MLB. We've seen some guys struggle in the past, and it takes a few years, but I I don't see that being the case with Murakami, and I think we're going to get at least a decently productive season. I think the power will definitely be there. The batting average stuff may struggle a little bit in this first year, but you can definitely, almost pencil in 20-plus home runs this season. And the White Sox Park is a huge hitter's ballpark when it comes to the middle of summer year months. Definitely all in on Murakami. Top 3 FYPD pick for sure.
Yeah, the rise is pretty crazy in the last 8 weeks. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. We're going to do a blind ranking, and by blind I mean it's a top 4. Okay.
Okay.
I think you can figure it out once we start talking. Kyle Manzardo, where are you putting him 1 through 4?
Well, why don't you just tell me if I'd rather have Murakami or Manzardo? Because I don't know the other 4 guys. Oh, you're talking about the blind rankings.
Yes, blind. You don't even know if I'm going to say him.
Manzardo, I'll put at 3.
Okay. Torkelson.
Ooh. 2.
Murakami.
See, I going here. I gotta put him 1, but I don't know if I would put him there 1 again over Torkelson. And who was 4?
It's Vinny P.
Yeah.
AL Central first baseman.
First baseman. I think I'd have to put him now that I know the rankings.
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna go Torque 1, just because back-to-back 30 home run seasons or 25 home run seasons. Then I'm gonna go Vinny P, then Murakami, then Manzardo.
I didn't say Josh Bell is
the
other projected first baseman, so we can just leave that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm a big Vinny P guy, mostly because of the Italian breakfast nickname that I once donned on here. For weeks. But yeah, so mine would be Vinny, Torque, Murakami, Manzardo, and I really like Manzardo this year too. I almost was gonna add him to my list, but I got the NL.
Yep. All right, let's jump on to your next guy here. Someone that I like to talk about, Moises Ballesteros.
Yeah, he's cool, man. I feel like we talked about him last year about him being this lovable, chunky little guy.
Yeah.
One thing that I do want to preface here is, 1 second. Where the hell is my notes? There it is. If he has catcher eligibility in your league by chance, in most leagues he probably doesn't, but there are probably some that he does. You need him immediately. You're going to get some high average, some time at first base, maybe catching. Ideally, he's in a great lineup, and I'm going to talk about another couple a little bit later. And as someone that just watched Alex Bregman transform, Alex Bregman I'm going to miss Bregman for what he did for the young guys on the Red Sox, and I think he's going to do wonders with this Cubs team because they do have a few guys that just kind of need that veteran presence that Kyle Tucker was not last season. Tucker doesn't strike me as an arm around you guy. He strikes me as how is this not easy for you? It's easy for me. But yeah, I think we have 15 to 20 homers here. Average is great, especially for a catcher, but let's talk about him like he's not. I'm assuming he's making the team, right, Jason?
Yeah, probably not. As the start this season, probably not in the starting lineup, but definitely on the bench.
Yes,
a pinch hitter, and then I think he'll he'll probably play every 5 days or something like that.
Yeah,
he'll give the DH person a blow every once in a while.
Yeah. So definitely someone I'm interested in buying, especially if that instance is true where he isn't playing every day, because I think that the talent is there. If you hit, they're going to find a place for you. And he hits. And he's not one of those – he doesn't fit the profile of what he looks like, if that makes sense. Like if
I
you
agree.
see him, you're like, oh, this is Schwarber. Well, no.
Or
He's
Sal
gonna
Perez. He reminds me of
or
Salvador
Salvi
Perez a
Perez.
lot.
Exactly. It's gonna be a 15, 20 homer, but hit 280, which is fine. It's great. I don't know if you have any input as a Cubs fan, but like I feel like I would love this guy on my team.
Yeah, I got a lot of input on Cubs players. Love Moises Ballesteros. Question right now, we kind of talked about it briefly, is where is he going to play? More, at a major league level, he's only going to DH. Now, I would love to see him then maybe force the issue at first base a little bit and see if he can maybe man the first base, because I think that's one of those positions that's like an overflow position. Michael Busch, I love him. But I feel like you want more pop in your first baseman. Now, I don't know where you put Michael Busch in the spot. But anyways, Ballesteros is going to play DH when he does play. And you're right. I actually played more games at catcher for AAA than any other position that he did last year. So if your league bases eligibility off of minor league games played, he would be eligible catcher for 2026. And you're right. He does not fit when you look at his body and his profile, you're like, oh, this guy probably just hits a bunch of bombs. But he also has a very good plate awareness, does not strike out a lot, actually. Even at the major league level, he only struck out 18% of the time. Again, small sample, but still, when you look back at the minor league track record, he doesn't strike out a lot. Very good walk rate, good OBP guy. And again, we know every team is not healthy all year round. So he's not only will he only come off the bench, he will definitely fill in for somebody when there's injuries not just if, but when there's injuries for the Cubs. So I love the pick here. I think he's in for a very nice year, especially if he can be given the extended plate appearances.
For sure. Nice.
All right. Well, before we get to my next guy real quick, we got to handle some business. Talk about Fantrax. That's the wrong ad banner. That was if you want to turn out to be a premium member, you can do so at fantasysixpack.net/plans. But you should also be playing all your fantasy baseball at Fantrax. Fantrax is the premier place to play Dynasty Baseball. The player pool is immaculate. Different types of drafts, both auction and snake, FYPD drafts, supplemental prospect drafts. Player pool is immaculate. Sign up for free at fantrax.com/fantasy6pack. Now let's get back
Jason, I told you a little bit before the show that my neighborhood home friends reached out to me and they were like, teach us how to, huge baseball fans. We played fantasy baseball when we were kids. And they said, teach us your ways, set us up for a league. Do you know where I went immediately?
Fantrax.
Fantrax.com. It's not going to be Dynasty because we cannot do that to them. They're not. We're talking eight-man roto, just to its core baseball.
Yeah.
And they were all like, what's this? And I was like, it's the only way to do it. The only way. So there are 6 people from Braintree, my nice, lovely town, that are now on Fantrax.
Love that. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the next guy here. Let's talk about some pitchers. I love talking pitching. That's why my next guy I'm going to talk about here is a pitcher, and it's going to be Troy Melton of the Detroit Tigers. We saw Melton last year, had a little bit of a breakout last year when he made his debut for the Tigers. Majority of it being out of the pen, which I think is kind of a good thing. We talked about it on the show before. We really like it when teams let their top pitching prospects or any of their pitching prospects come up and debut and get a lot of work in their first year out of the pen. Kind of gives them the ability to not, I feel like, I don't want to say stressed, but they're not called upon as much in high leverage situations if you're kind of just pitching in either blowouts or middle inning relief. Troy Melton, he was a former 4th round pick. He was very efficient last year. He had a 2.76 ERA, 1.01 WHIP, 32% K rate, and a 189 average against. And then even before making his debut last year, he had a really nice track record in the minors. He had a sub-3 ERA, a 2.54 FIP, and 101 Ks in 75 innings last year. But different from Cantillo, we talked about previously, Melton actually does have velocity. The fastball sits in the upper 90s. Slider is probably his best secondary pitch, which has really good spin rates and some nice swing and miss ability with that pitch. Right now, going forward for 2026, Reese Olson was just announced about a week or two ago that he's going to miss a few months with shoulder injury. So he's now most likely slated to be the 6th or 5th man rotation person in that rotation. I know they signed Framber Valdez, which kind of bumped everyone back a spot, but
and Verlander.
Yeah, and Verlander too. So Melton may need to wait a couple months before he gets his opportunity, but he will definitely be with the team, if not in like long rotation or, long relief. He will definitely be making starts at some point for the Tigers, at least for 2026, and then obviously beyond as well.
Yeah, I'm interested in Melton. There was some bad news about Melton today.
Oh, I didn't even see.
Yep. He is unavailable to pitch in spring training games due to general arm soreness.
Oh, that's never good.
We are playing it conservative, says Coach AJ Hinch. It's the talent is there.
Yeah.
This, honestly, if it's just general arm soreness, fine. But also, like, we got to check in on what the hell the Tigers are doing. We need to put Tariq Skubal in bubble wrap.
Yeah, just hit him at the beginning of the year.
Everyone just has sore arms. It's great.
And they had pitching injuries last year too.
Yes.
That they dealt with. Reese Olson missed a lot of time last year. I'm trying to think there's a couple other guys that they had some injury in their pitching rotation last year too.
Yeah, but Melton does seem to still be throwing, just not in games.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how this really flushes out. Not as big as extension as Cantillo, but you know what? 87th percentile. But again, that velo, that'll get you. Yeah, that gets your arm sore. But I traded Justin Crawford for Troy Melton like maybe a month ago, and now I'm kind of bummed about it. But in general, I'm in on the player. I think talent always finds its way, and I think he has a talent. So, like, if that means someone gets hurt, if that means they trade Skubal, he's going to get his opportunity, and I think he's going to make the most of it as long as he has an arm to throw.
Yeah. Love it. Well, we'll go from one pitcher from the AL to now one of your pitchers in the NL. Someone I think everyone's high on and love talking about Chase Burns from the Cincinnati Reds.
Chase Burns, man.
Dog.
I feel like that was just like John Gruden just saying, Chase Burns, man. When I was doing my research today, found out he was born in Italy.
Oh, nice.
Born in Naples, Italy. My fellow Paisan, I guess. I don't know. Maybe his nickname should be Italian breakfast. When I was looking, I think I was surprised to see that he almost had a 5 ERA.
Yeah.
I think we had a little bit of we were just excited about him. We needed to remember that he's still a rookie. And honestly, he's fighting for that 5th spot in the Reds rotation. So, he might not even make the club, depending on how spring training goes for him. But he is the darling, that the high K that we saw in the minors. Interested how the spring goes if he actually makes the team. Honestly, it might not be bad if he started the year in AAA just to get back in a routine again and all that stuff. So I'm interested in that. Still, we're talking the number 2 overall pick a year ago. He's going to be in this league for a long time, and we're going to be talking about him for a long time. But yeah, seeing he was 0-3 with 22 earned runs, I was like, but he had 67 strikeouts.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is fine. So in on Chase Burns, that's not like a hot take. It's just kind of let's just talk about Chase Burns, mostly because I was surprised that his ERA was 4.6.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of a welcome to the major league experience when he came up. Because you said he definitely still struck batters out. He struck out, 35% of the batters he faced, but he also walked almost 9% of the batters he faced. And not only that, when the guys did walk or get on, he gave up a ton of hard contact.
Yeah.
He only had a 64% left on base percentage. So guys were getting on, and then not only were they getting on, they were coming around to score, which obviously tells the tale of the high inflated ERA, and the hard hit rate's really bad. So I think maybe a little bit too much attacking in the zone, and maybe needs to learn. We all know you can throw hard. We all know you can dominate the hitter. I think we need to see a little bit more. He said, maybe go back down to the high minors and see if you can kind of work on more some of the what they call throwing instead of just pitching. You know what I mean?
Do you know who he's up against?
Oh, God. Probably like, I don't. Probably like.
It's a name.
I want to say they probably like re-signed like Tyler Mahle or something.
Rhett Lauder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They got a couple of those guys. Rhett Lauder, Chase Burns.
He was the 7th pick in 2023. And then he made the team and then got hurt. And then he was out all of last season. This is definitely this is now going to turn into a Rhett Lauder conversation. But Lauder, man, he was good. And I'm interested in how that goes because, again, 7th overall pick in 2023, in his 6 starts, his ERA was 1.17 for the big leagues in 2023. So, I mean, in 2024, rather. So this is a guy, I think this just makes me high on the Reds. And Lauder, honestly, couldn't be more of a different pitcher than Burns. We're talking low velo, relies on that slider sinker. But yeah, if you mixed Lauder and Burns, you would have the best pitcher.
Absolutely. All right, we'll jump over here. My guy next. That's going to be Carter Jensen of the Kansas City Royals.
Nice.
I feel like it's a good thing we didn't do a catcher prospect episode because we've talked a ton of catchers between the AL, NL Central, and the NL and the East divisions. We've had a lot of catcher talk. So I feel like we're kind of covering our bases here on that. But yeah, love Carter Jensen. The 22-year-old did make his debut last year. Only had 69 plate appearances. Nice. However, small sample size. It's a small sample size. So it was only 69, but he did slash 300, 391, 550 with a 403 WOBA. 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, ton of hard contact, including a max exit velo of 113 miles per hour. So hits the ball hard. Really nice approach at the plate. Before even making his debut, he really nice career in the minors as well, including double-digit home runs every year. He's got a 790 OPS and gets on base at a really nice high rate. And honestly, he might even be able to contribute a 5 to a player at the catcher position. He had some decent speed in the minors. He averaged 10 stolen bases a year. So I'm not saying he's going to come up to the majors and steal you 25 bags, but if you're getting 5 to 10 stolen bases out of your catcher, and as well as giving you those ratios and that power and counting stats, that's huge. I think he's in store for a really nice breakout in 2026, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he at least wins or at least in contention for AL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think he's currently the betting favorite for AL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I believe it.
That, and we got the new walls in Kansas City.
Yep.
The Royals are a very interesting team, and I think Jensen is kind of the next wave of. I mean, we have Bobby Witt, we have Vinny P, but that's going to be the core. It's going to be Jensen, Witt, Vinny P, and then whoever, Noah Cameron. I'm very excited about the Royals, and I think Jensen's going to be a big part of them this season.
Yeah, the thing that's kind of going under the radar, not to derail it too much, but yeah, the wheels could be up for Bobby Witt this year with the walls.
Oh.
The walls being lowered and moved in. We could see back to the 30, 40 years for Bobby Witt for sure. Let's jump over to your guy. Now we're going back to the pitcher talk, and that's Hunter Barco of the Pirates.
Yeah, this is going to be fairly brief, mainly because I did a poor job. No, I'm just playing. Hunter Barco, I'm very excited about. I don't know if we see him this coming season, but he's currently sitting, at least on Pipeline, at 96 on the top prospect list. He's someone I've always he was a two-way player at Florida, and I kind of always just kind of like kept an eye on him, and he's just really been developing. And last year he really took a big jump. He did in 27 games. He started 23 of them, little under 100 innings, 116 strikeouts. So that's over one strikeout an inning. Fantastic. ERA under 3. That's great. Just kind of, again, we're looking at this Pirates team that's gonna figure it out soon. Whether they want to or not, they're gonna luck into a good team.
Yeah.
And it kind of starts with the pitching. I think this year we'll see the Bubba Chandler of it all. And then next year might be the Barco. And Barco's not going to be like an SP1. I do see him in that like SP, like high SP3 range. So he was drafted in 2022 in the second round. So he's been around the block, especially as a college pitcher. It's kind of like if it takes you 4 years, it's kind of a slow rise. But one thing that does concern me is since it has been so long and he hasn't missed time with injury, I'm nervous that an injury is going to happen. But yeah, unsure if you have anything to add on Barco, but definitely someone that I'd be targeting pretty much everywhere. And he could be available in some shallower leagues.
Yeah, not too much to add other than, we've talked about many times the love we have for the Pirates' ability to identify and develop pitching prospects. So anytime you can get a highly touted prospect in the Pittsburgh organization, definitely buy in on him. I mean, I think, like I said, you go down the list of these guys, just every year they just draft these guys the first 2 rounds. We just had Seth Hernandez. Those can go on and on and on and on. Barco is another one of those lists in the name of that list that another pitching prospect that's going to get churned out by the Pittsburgh Pirates for sure. Going my next guy here, and it's going to be Luke Keaschell of the Minnesota Twins. This is someone that was really, really receiving much of helium last year, and honestly came out of the gate firing. He probably would have, I can't say would have, but like if he would have stayed healthy, he would be in the running for sure for Rookie of the Year last year. Made an immediate impact when he came up. Injuries kind of shortened his season a little bit last year, but he did still slash 302, 382, 445. Got a really nice advanced approach at the plate. His chase, whiff, and K rate all ranked near the top of the league. He only struck out 14% of the time at the major league level. He's never had a K rate above 20% in his career dating back to the minors. He's got a ton of speed. He stole 14 bags last year in only 49 games. He's got, and then he had a total of 25 last year between AAA and majors. I think, obviously health is a concern going forward, but if he can stay healthy, man, Roster Resource has him scheduled to hit second in that lineup, so should get plenty of opportunity to get runs. Stolen base production will be there. Decent amount of plate appearances, give you excellent ratios. All in on Keaschell, especially with a full season under his belt. I'm definitely all in. But plus, he's second base eligibility, which is we all know in fantasy league is a huge upswing for sure.
Yeah, the Twins. I feel like we really talked about them. It might have actually not even been like on air, but like they're an odd team. I don't know what their like deal is.
Yeah,
like they hold on to Lopez. They're holding on to Joe Ryan. I think they just need to be like, okay, they need to do what the Cardinals did, honestly, which is this offseason they hired him. Well, they hired him a couple of years ago. But they're like, okay, let's just get rid of these guys. Let's bring in all the prospects. Let the kids play.
Yeah. Which we've seen teams do and be very successful, right? Like Boston, Cubs, like these teams that do this, that blow it all up and bring in as many top prospects as they can, kind of group them all together and come up together and are successful. So you would think, especially these small market teams,
why are the Twins doing this?
Yeah.
Like if this was the Yankees, any team on the West Coast, Red Sox, okay, Like you're trying to fill seats. No one's going to that game.
Right.
But yes, I digress. Love him. Great value at second base, especially in redraft because he's not going anywhere like high. So
let me check his. I'm actually curious because it is getting draft season, so I'm like kind of curious to see. I didn't even look up his ADP before the pod here. I'm curious to see.
Yeah, like his projections are 11 homers, 23 stolen bases. Like that's great, and hitting over 250.
Yeah, he's right now his ADP of 137, so higher than I thought, but still outside the top 125 for a second baseman. You're getting outside the top 10 picks, 10 rounds. I mean,
Trade Buxton.
Yeah, well, here's a good transition. That let's keep going with the Minnesota talk because I got a bust or sorry, a fade on the same organization. So we just finished our buys on all the teams. Let's get into some fades. I'm gonna keep the Minnesota talk going. This is a perfect transition. I'm talking about my fade. That's Royce Lewis. I think it was just 2 years ago where everyone's like, this guy, if he can just stay healthy, he's the most efficient player ever.
He's pacing for 60 home runs.
Yeah. Well, guess what? He just had his most healthiest season of to date, and he appeared in 106 games, which isn't saying much. But for someone like him, getting 106 games is still his most healthiest season. And it was arguably his worst season he's had ever so far. So with an 85 WRC plus. Now, again, he did have some injuries again. He missed some time yet again. But yeah, he appeared in 106 games and he only hit 13 home runs. So it's like, I don't want to hear that he's super efficient and the health is what was holding him back. Yes, he was hurt a little bit last year, but he also was healthy at times too. And he never had anything remotely worthy of his ADP or his draft or dynasty stock. He slashed 237, 283. He slugged 388. And in the past 2 seasons, he's been so bad. I don't know why they still hold on to him. They keep pulling out hope. We just talked about how the Minnesota Twins, they don't know what they're doing. They should have sold Royce Lewis early, maybe a year or two ago when he had that insane output.
Yeah.
He holds a 705 OPS in the last 2 seasons combined. Combined with the injury concerns, lack of plate discipline, I am out. I'm not sure you can find anyone that's in on him. But for some reason, someone's out there still being like, Royce Lewis is super efficient when healthy. And if you could just put all season together, I'm in on it. By all means, fade or sell Royce Lewis as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I had 2 trade offers in 2 separate leagues, and I owned Royce Lewis in both leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Got 2 trade offers. I accepted them both.
Yeah.
One was a first, a second, third, fourth, fifth round. So 1 draft. So a first, second, third, fourth, and fifth in 2028. And I said, sure.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. By the time, and then the other one actually happened Monday, maybe? And it was Stowers. Yeah, sure.
Oh, 100%.
Give me it. I mean, Stowers did have, so it is a contract league. Lewis was 3 years for $11. Stowers was 3. I could sign him to whatever I wanted at 15. So I signed him for 4 years at 15. I was like, sure, give me that. Whatever. Yeah. So yes, 100% with you there. It sucks because he's great when he's healthy, but yes, last year was the most healthiest year, and it wasn't that great.
Yeah, and he's also very pull heavy. And what was the record that he broke for? Was it like 6 home runs and 6 at bats or something like that?
Yeah, it was like 6 straight games or something
of a home run or something,
or like maybe it was a grand slam in 2 straight at bats. Okay, like he walked off, and then the next day he hit one. Or something.
Some weird record that obviously made his draft, his dynasty stock soar through the roof, but it's neither here nor there. Be out on Royce Lewis. And then we're going to talk about your fade here. Someone dear to my heart, PCA, Pete Crow-Armstrong of my Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, I'm fading him as a fantasy player, Jason. not as a baseball player, because last season, I think we honestly talked about it. Will the real PCA please stand up? Because that was like crazy. Like, we were talking MVP for that first half of last season.
Yeah.
And then the second half, we're seeing him hit 216, 72 WRC plus. Just, he still played great defense.
Yep.
So that's fine, which again is cool. I'm going to say a name. I don't want you to be offended. His name is Jackie Bradley Jr. Okay. Jackie Bradley would occasionally be very good at offense.
Yep.
And elite at defense. Greatest center fielder I've ever seen, honestly. Like, as an actual baseball fan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I see with PCA, other than PCA will steal you 50 bases, or like, no, maybe not 50. No, he could, honestly.
Yeah.
40, 50 bases. I don't buy the power. But again, I love seeing, like, he's such a player that I enjoy, because like you see him at the Bears games and you're like, oh, he's really into this. Yep. So like, if I had a son and we lived in Chicago, I'm buying him a PCA jersey. Just because I'm like, this is how I want you to play.
Yeah. When you sent me who your fade was, I was like, this is a perfect fade.
It was
I'm going to be honest.
Neil Cruz.
As a Cub fan, I'm going to be honest with you. I am pretty worried about what PCA we get in 2026. I think the 30-30 season was an outlier. I don't want to call it
a 30-30 half season, basically.
Yeah, it was. It was like 25-25, I think.
It was 25 and 27.
Yeah. I don't want to call it a fluke, because I think, he does have really nice ability. But, yeah, I don't know if we see 30-30 again in his career. I think 2020 is definitely capable. And if you look at the advanced metrics, too, it's very alarming. The chase rate, the whiff rate, the K rate, it's all not good, man. He's a free swinger that just kind of happened to connect on a lot of balls. And if you look at the power, all the power was pull side. So it's not like he's making good contact on the ball. He's just barreling up and pulling the ball. I'm worried about PCA going forward. Again, I don't disagree with the Jackie Bradley comp, and I feel like with the Cubs' philosophy of pitching and defense, he will continue to get plate appearances. He will continue to get playing time. Even if he has to drop down to the 9th spot in the order, he will be on this team for the foreseeable future. And I think he'll still be able to give you – ratios are going to suck, but the power speed numbers will be there. The runs scored will be there, but the ratios are out the window.
I think 2020 is the realistic. So my only concern is the fans. As in, like, I worry that maybe not you, but like the average Cubs fan is going to be like, he's going to go 30-30 again.
Yeah.
I love this guy. He's not. The fans aren't from Boston, but still.
Yeah, it could be rough this year. If he starts off first half like the second half was last year, we're going to have a lot of angry fans here in Chicago, because, like you said, most people are casual baseball fans. They're going to be like, well, he went 30-30 last year. He's an MVP candidate. It's like, if you know what you're talking about, there's some concern there for PCA going forward.
Exactly. All right, Jason.
All right, well, that wraps up this week's episode of our Dynasty Breakouts for the AL NL Central. We'll be back again talking about the West Division and who we like and don't like in that division. But until then, Nick.
Peace.
See ya.